Hello, welcome to my channel. It's good to have you here. My name is Gemma. I am a criminologist, an advanced cultist, and a mother. And in this one, I want to talk about one of my favourite modules in criminology, which is law, order, and politics. It was one of my favourites. So it's very difficult to understand, but usually the politics follow from the law, okay, and the order has been passed from that. And then but usually it can come from either side. It can either be a politic first and then become law, or it can be, an issue, or it can just be like create space and law just pass it, right? So law, order, and politics obviously speaks for itself, but order is about how the public are supposed to abide by these rules, okay? So there is a sense of order, right? From the law that's made, the public follow with the order, okay? And then the politic comes after there, the to and from, to what position you might be holding that argument, okay? It doesn't matter what it is, right? So this is how politics can sort of like cause crime within our society through change of laws, or which is usually a case. This is why it happens, like it's because the law changes and then an argument comes from that. And it can be pushed down to an order aspect where people aren't following the order, so then it goes against the law itself. This can be how protests erupt. This is why protests erupt. This is why it happens, okay? So really, this one is one of my favourites, because in this one I didn't get much high marks, but I got a lot of understanding from this. It was interesting to me because it displayed a lot of, by the end of it I understood it, but it was just basically punitive ideas, authoritarian ideas versus sort of like that, the opposite really, what it's really about, more taking punitive responses. And this is why law usually changes. This can change for the worst, okay? This can change for the better, depending on the situation. Which gets me into this. So once leaving Brexit, the laws, they are asking, I think it's the Brexit Reform Great Britain Party. They are saying that they want to come out of the European Conventions of Human Rights, as this would be for the child, for ourselves, and this means that we won't have a centre for, I guess, proactively fighting against a human right if it's been dismissed within our country, the UK. So they want to abolish this, okay? So I don't think this is the right thing to do. I don't think we have enough policies in place in our own country to begin understanding how to imagine abolishing laws that have been created to protect children, human rights, things like this. So I think the laws would have to be put in place first to provide that support. The laws have to be put in place first before abolishing the European Convention of Human Rights, and the one especially for children, which it doesn't look like they're adhering to at the minute, right? So this might be why they're trying to abolish it. So this might be a different idea, different spectrum to look from, because Farage hasn't really explained why he wants to abolish this. He's very proactive on business, entrepreneurship. Hopefully he can push some public sector in there, because that's one of the things that I think is missing, and this is why there is being a fault within the order that you would like the public to be, how they are responding to your laws, and the politic that's being expressed from that. or not expressed from that. So really it's about reconnecting what is right to create a circle of, instead of lines that can just be snagged, we need to create a full circle of connection, so we can understand that there's more to life. Because if you just cut connection, public sectors are gone, the economy might be great, and there's financial connection to the public sectors. This leads me on to understanding things like corporate crime. Okay, so public sectors aren't doing their job properly. It's classed as a corporate crime because there's crime committed upon from an agency toward the public. So this is how like corporate crime can come into it. How can you override a law, because you can't, under a corporate crime? So it's either unlawful, and you know, it's a call out of corporate crimes, okay, as well. So it's not just, it's about how the public sector are dealing with things as well, okay? Because there's a lot of things that have come about how public sector are dealing with things when a law is provided. If it was under law, that would be illegal. It's a corporate crime. So you have to see where your scale lies under my act's judgment, if you like, because there is law, order, and there's a politic, but it's cosmic as well. And after every consequence of ignoring things like the rights for a child, the rights for humans, and trying to abolish that, okay, as riots are kicking off at the same time, you're not looking at this situation and addressing this situation as what, you're not seeing it right with the right spectrum, because you're focusing on removing the rights when people are kicking off about things that are not going right in the first place for themselves. Human rights are being taken from the European Convention on Human Rights. This is what he wanted to do. This can destabilise the public sector community, as it already is happening since 2020. So it doesn't look positive for public sectors, and obviously opening a lens into the corporate crimes that have been taking place. And that's really one big can of worms. But that's just how it is. So law, order and politics is my favourite, because this is like how and why, and sort of like a continuum of events, of sequel events that take place through life, understanding politics, how we create society, and sort of functions within it to keep us all within the realm of criminality, crime, not committing crime. And it's my favourite topic, criminology, right? So this is how we can understand how we can benefit from we benefit from having law, but under the right circumstances, and if it's in a correct way. If there's corporate crime taking place, it's a coup. You can understand it as a coup. You know, it's a form of a coup, right, on the people. And, you know, a lot of people can get pissed off about this, because what's being taken advantage of the most? Why? Okay? And then what you're left with in society, oh no. We need to think about this, strategize, you know, in terms of like how we're going to rebuild sectors, public sectors, especially after COVID, right? You're just trying to fight for like what? Ideas that have already been displayed a long time ago. We are becoming other things, okay? There's things going on in our policies that no one's looking at. We're not allowed to because it's been red taped, okay? Children in care homes, okay? And what they're doing, okay? The amount of children going into them, the lack of resources for public sectors to help the public, okay, within our communities. They've all been changed to contact centres. from support centres to contact centres, most of them, apart from the biggest estates, they all have done contact centres. And they used to be parenting classes, one-to-ones, all this stuff, right? They're just not doing that anymore. They're not proposing certain strategies, okay? And they're picking and choosing as well. They're cherry picking. And this is another form of corporate crime, okay? They can't justify it because it's cherry picking, okay? They're picking favourites. It's narcissistic tendencies. And when it's run through public sectors, we have human rights, okay? You're not allowed to do this. And when you do it, you're committing your own corporate crimes, okay? So you have to understand it from this perspective as well, this spectrum. There is a corporate crime taking place within public sectors. And it's running. And, I don't know, like, everything's changing as well. Everything's emails or PDF specific, right? To me, this looks like it's almost like a factory. It's disgusting to look at that. The situation function going on there. What's going on with the doubling of them, care homes, stuff like this. Well, I don't understand what's going on. Right? No one's really addressing it. In Parliament, media's saying stuff about it, but no one else is addressing it. Like, what's going on with the kids? Right? We need public sectors on that. Somebody's there's either a tariff, right? So this is how you get onto law. Is it a tariff, a policy, or something like this? Highest point you're going to get is a law. And then, you can get policies. So, policy to be put under law, to have a tariff to be put in place under social policy, to have a tariff set for children go into care, that might be a connotation you can take to that. Is that really happening? I'm questioning that narrative. No, don't shoot me for it. Like, but this is where the questioning of how this has taken place, and if it has, why. There shouldn't be that many children being taken like this. And is it under a form of corporate crime? Because it looks that way. Because it's not adhering to human rights. And a lot of them are going into care for no reason. I've got a criminology degree. I can justify myself. Okay? And, I'm a mother for 8 years, so I have a doctorate in mothering. Okay? So you might as well tell people how it is, because otherwise people don't understand. Okay? So, just saying that we all come prepared with experiences in life, and we all share it as well, because it's obviously the best thing to do. So we can all experience or learn from experiences. But to go back to social policy, if it's a position to be old that was on purpose, then why is it taking place? To come and do that and the masses like that, for a lot of children to be taken. What is this? Right? And, so it needs addressing. In Parliament, or somewhere needs to address this, because no one is. Apart from the Sun once, I think. And the media's being silenced, possibly over it. But this is how policy can override order, but order goes against that because we don't consent. So there's a difference between policy, order, because politics is a politic is a decision to go against or for. Law is basically just how it is. So if they're going to put things into law and basically just how it is, and we're going to go against it, that's an aspect of disorder within a community, because it goes against our human rights. So usually this is why things kick off. This is why human rights, it's because human rights are being violated, and this is usually why violence takes place, or maybe a protest even. I wouldn't even condone violence, but I'm just saying protesting and stuff like that, I think that's fine, but as long as it's not damage. But so in all, I just think that there's like, we have to sort of have that equal status quo when it comes to like law and then order. I'm just gonna close this out with it because it makes me mad. That we have to have a like an equal footing between like the people and corporates, government and the people even. And then we have to have like an equal footing with like understanding like how corporate crimes can take place, and there might be a reason why it's taking place, and we need to see beyond certain crimes before they actually go ahead with it, instead of like trying to dominate, instead of like understanding before and listening to a truth. Okay, see a truth